I thought my partner was dying at chemo, until my mom told me what she was really doing. The first thing that hits you when you open the door is the smell. It's the smell of a clean sick room, which is somehow worse than a dirty one. It's the sharp, sterile bite of antiseptic trying and failing to cover something organic and sad underneath. It's the smell of my life now. I dropped my keys in the ceramic bowl by the door, the clatter echoing in the silent house. The sound used to be a signal. Used to mean Anahita would call out from the kitchen, her voice full of warmth, telling me dinner was almost ready, asking about my day. Now, it was just noise in a vacuum. "Nita?" I called out, my voice thin, a faint sound from upstairs, a rustle of sheets. I took the stairs 2 at a time, my heart doing that familiar little squeeze of dread and devotion. She was in our bed, where she always was these days. The blackout curtains were drawn tight, leaving the room in a permanent twilight. She was a pale shape against the dark gray duvet, her black hair fanned out on the pillow. She looked like a tragic painting. Beautiful, breakable. I sat on the edge of the mattress. It dipped with my weight, and she gave a tiny, almost imperceptible wince. Her chemo day. I knew not to touch her too much on chemo days. "Hey," I whispered, leaning in to kiss her forehead. Her skin was cool, damp. She smelled like soap and something else, something metallic. "How'd it go?" She turned her head towards me, and her eyes opened. Big, dark eyes. They looked like bruises in her drawn face. A fragile smile touched her lips. "Oh, you know." And I did know. Or I thought I did. The first time, after the diagnosis, I was with her for every session. I held the plastic basin while she heaved. I learned the names of all the nurses. I sat in that beige room for hours, watching poison drip into the love of my life. My hands clenched into fists until my knuckles were white. Then the surgery. The surgeon, a man with kind eyes and steady hands, told me they got it all. Clean margins. No reason she shouldn't make a full recovery. We celebrated. We cried. We thought we had our lives back. But the ghost never really left. The exhaustion lingered. The paleness clung to her. And then, 6 months later, she told me. She'd gone for a follow-up by herself. I couldn't get the time off. My boss was already making noises about all the leave I'd taken. She sat me down on this very bed in this same twilight and took my hands. Her grip was like a bird's bones, frail and tight. "It's back, Zika. The floor just dropped out of the world. Again." "They've scheduled more chemo," she'd said, and then the tears started, silent tracks down her hollow cheeks. My own heart shattered right on schedule. My mother, Lelia, never trusted it. "Something's not right," she'd said over the phone, her voice like gravel. "Zika, you need to go to these appointments. You need to talk to the doctors yourself." "Ma, she's sick. Don't do this," I'd pleaded. "I know she's sick. I want to know how sick." Anahita just rolled her eyes when I told her, a flash of the old fire. "We're lucky to have one oncologist, Zeka. We're not royalty. I can handle it." And I let her. What else could I do? I had to work. We had bills. This fucking disease wasn't cheap. My phone vibrated in my pocket, a low, insistent buzz. "Lelia." "Of course." Anahita's eyes followed me as I stood up. I gave her a reassuring look and stepped into the hallway, closing the bedroom door behind me. "Ma, I just walked in. She's had a rough day." "It was chemo, Zeka." Her voice cut through my bullshit like a razor. It was dead calm. "I went to the hospital today." The hallway suddenly felt cold. "What? Why?" "I took Irene for her rheumatology appointment. At St. Jude's. Same building as the infusion center, you know." A pause. I could hear her breathing. I thought I'd stop by. "Bring Anahita a magazine." I went up to the 4th floor. I asked for her. "Ma, you can't just..." "She wasn't there, Zeka. They have no record of her having an appointment today. Or last week. Or the week before that." My blood went to ice. It drained right out of my head, leaving a high-pitched ringing in my ears. That's not possible. There's a mistake. You went to the wrong floor. The excuses sounded stupid even as I was saying them. I asked for Dr. Albright's office. "I know his name, Zeka. Your wife was not there. But you know where she was? Sonia from down the street saw her. An hour ago. At the waterfront. Feeding the gulls." What does your mother want? Anahita's voice muffled through the door. It sounded stronger than it had a minute ago. I hung up without saying goodbye. My hand was shaking. I stared at the door handle, a piece of brushed nickel that suddenly looked alien and threatening. Who goes to the waterfront after a chemo session? My mother's words echoed in my head. My whole body felt like it was moving through water as I pushed the door open. The room was the same, the twilight, the pale shape in the bed. But I was different. I was seeing it with new eyes. Her eyes were on me, glinting in the dark. That waxy sheen on her skin, was it sweat or just moisturizer? The bandage on her collarbone, the one covering her chemo port, the edge was peeling up, a tiny flap of white against her pale skin. I'd never noticed that before. I never looked. Everything okay, my love? She asked. Her voice was still a whisper, but it seemed practiced. A performance. My brain was screaming. A storm of images and memories and tiny, insignificant details that were suddenly enormous. The way she never let me see the port. The way she was always asleep when I brought her post-chemo soup. The prescriptions I picked up that were always just for nausea, never the heavy-duty painkillers. I had to know. I had to break the script. I swallowed past the lump in my throat. I'm going to make some food, I said, my own voice a stranger's. I'm thinking, a burger, on the grill. I waited for the recoil. For the hand to her mouth, the moan about the smell of cooking meat making her sick. It was the part she always played after chemo. Instead, she was silent for a long moment. Then, she sat up. Not slowly, not with a pained groan. She moved with a liquid ease, a fluid strength that I hadn't seen in over a year. The duvet slid down to her lap. In the gloom, her face changed. The shadow shifted. The fragility fell away like a costume. Her eyes, which had seemed so dull and weary, were suddenly sharp, focused, and fucking furious. Actually, Zeka, she said, and her voice wasn't a whisper anymore. It was clear and cold and carried across the room like a bell. I'm starving. She smiled then. It wasn't the faint, brave smile of a sick person. It was a wide, toothy, terrifying thing. The smile of someone who had won. Make me one too, will you? And don't you dare overcook it.